And that's where I grew up as well. And but they actually were born and raised in Oklahoma. But that long before I came along, they had left there, and then they went down to Louisiana because my dad had a church. He had a church there. He had been offered a church there. And I guess he, which it ended up being the right decision, absolutely. And he took a church there, and we were there a long, long time. Well, they were, and I was too. We were there a long, long time. And matter of fact, the church grew so much that we went from to three different type, building, each one bigger than the building before, because the church kept growing in number of people, getting saved and stuff like that. And so that's where I happened to discover America. So, that's all I grew up, Louisiana is my home in my heart. I don't know nothing about in Oklahoma. I didn't grow up there like Mom and Daddy. I grew up in Louisiana.
Katie, that's one of the places I love, though, was Louisiana, Seattle, and Canada, and Alaska.
I haven't been to Canada or Alaska. I haven't been anywhere like in the northern part, of the continent. Other than I did go two
Soda
times
Girl having
to
a great
Grand
day
Rapids,
today.
Michigan.
I see y'all flooding in the
But
chat.
it was in the
And
winter that I
we're 5
went.
minutes late here, but let's get
And that was the worst possible
we have some
time
stuff
because I
regarding
didn't like
Tales
it,
of the Jedi, which comes
naturally,
out.
because I'm not even used to winter.
Yeah.
When
so
you live like
believe it or not,
an hour and a half
this
from the
trailer
Gulf,
seems like it has more hype than
Andor we didn't
itself, 'cause
even
it has
have
something
winter.
like 4.5 million views or something like
then
that.
that was a bad
But
time for me to go
anyways, I think it's going to be a really
up
great
there
show.
and
We have
think that it
some
was a good
information
experience.
regarding.
Because
I
I
think
got
that
up there
the
and it was
episode
like,
titles,
oh my
and this is coming
God.
from like a
I
press
felt,
kit
it's
document
like
kind
a
of thing that was
frozen
leaked
tundra to me,
or revealed. I don't
So
really
my
know.
experience
It's coming
wasn't that
from
great
Reddit Star
either
Wars
time.
leaks.
But
So anyways, let's go ahead and read
that's the only
it.
place
Tales of
I've
the
ever
Jedi
been up
episode
north
titles
was to
and directors have been
Michigan
revealed
to
just
Grand
days ahead of the
Rapids,
series
Michigan.
premiere, courtesy of a press kit document found and shared on.
Well, Cajun, if you don't like cold, stay
So
away from Chicago.
turned off
Chicago's just
by
as cold
what
as
to me
Alaska.
felt like, not really being Star Wars. And I was just like, dude, Disney, like,
Where
what
I
are you
live
guys
now
doing?
gets plenty. I don't like it here
So
either in the
yeah,
winter.
it's.
Now when we have a bad
I think
winter
it's like
here,
a challenging time
up in the Ozark Mountains.
for the fan base. I've
Not
found it
last year.
challenging to
Or was
engage
it
in the fan
last
base
year?
because, like, you'll get a lot of people.
It might have been last
Like,
year,
dude,
but
like
it
some of these
seems
tweets I
like it was the
have
year
are
before.
like getting
But anyway,
like
we've been
ridiculous
getting
numbers of
minus
impressions
degree
and like
weather.
starting to get to the point where like a
It
bunch
got
of
down
blue
like
checks are
minus
like chiming in and like there's all these like conversations going on.
I've never been
And I'm like,
nothing like that
I'm
in
like
my
sitting
whole
back
entire
and
life.
people are just
I
so
was like, oh
rude
no. I mean,
with the way
it
that
really
they
freaked me out
defend the
thinking
show and also
that
try
it
to
was that
belittle
cold of
people
weather.
that are not
You know,
engaged
and
in the show.
I'm not used
Like, it's
to
so
it
crazy to me
yet.
that you have
I don't think I ever will.
fairly reasonable
acclimate to
amount
it.
of people on Twitter that are
I'm
like
just
literally
not.
saying
I really
this
don't
show's
believe that I'll
incredible.
ever
Star Wars
totally
fans are just
or even come
idiots
close to
and just want
acclimate
flashy stuff in
to
front of
weather
their
that
face.
cold.
Yeah,
And it's like that's like where we're at. You
That's
know what
a
I
great
mean?
way to get your argument across.
Right,
Just
exactly.
be like, hey, if you don't like what I like, you're a dum dum.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Very,
Yeah.
very intelligent. Nice.
What do they say?
Yeah, so
You know, I see
I
that
went to
comment
work,
sometimes too. It's
one
a
day.
new thing, right?
And 80 below degree weather, like a dummy.
Oh my God. 80 below? I can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine when it was 15 below. I was like, oh. I mean, it literally was so cold that if you went outside and there was any part of your face exposed or anything, within a matter of like seconds, it would feel like your face was just burning. I can't even imagine. But kind of a different. It would hurt. Begin to hurt, like it was just burning. It was literally in your skin that fast. It was just, oh, it was horrible. I hated it.
I was crying and the tears froze.
Yeah, that's something, when you get down talking that far below zero, you can pour out like water. You can pour water out of a glass and it will freeze mid-air before it hits the ground. Now that is freaky. Isn't it? Have you ever seen that, Apples? Man. Ooh, that's scary.
Some incredible videos. Oh, I think I live on YouTube. There's some really good videos of folk doing that Cajun up on YouTube, and it literally the patterns that it forms are incredible. And then they were doing the photography, showing up through a lens or what the snowflakes look like and what the frozen parts look like. It's absolutely beautiful. But there was an Irish girl I knew that went over as well, and she had a little scar, tiny little scar on her face from where a tear froze. She didn't realise how cold it was going to get. So I'd love to see the States. I haven't been there yet. Got as far as Canada with hubby. We went on holidays there. We were in Ontario, but we went down to Niagara Falls, and we were just across the border. Now, hubby could go into the States because he was on an English passport, but they wouldn't let me cross on an Irish passport. I would have had to apply for a special day pass visa. I didn't realise that before we went. So he did cross over, travelled a little bit, and I stayed in Canada at the time. But it was beautiful there, though.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually we stayed with a couple, Magic, that we met on the internet. We were friends for about a year and a half, and they invited us over to stay with them. So we went over, and gosh, they invited us for a month. They wanted us to stay another, but we didn't. We had to get back. And then they were traveling Europe, so they came over and they stayed with us for nearly a month as well. So it was lovely. Yeah, we used to live in Belgium at one time too, and we had a very big house there. We had a lot of folk from the internet come and stay with us there. I loved it. We had so much fun, but I can't do it. This house is really small that we have now. So we've had a lot of folk come and stay with us. Not from well, actually one or two from Pal years back, but not lately though. Not since we moved to here. And I really do miss that. I love having people coming over to stay.
Yeah, guys, on the subject of cold, I got frostbite in high school, and that's the worst pain I've ever experienced. So young and stupid, but I got home, I put hot water on it, and the skin just started peeling off, and there came the pain.
When we lived in Belgium, we were near Antwerp, and I think there still is like a military base in Germany. So a lot of the folk that we actually got to meet were military folk. They'd come down and spend the weekend with us, and we'd show them around, take them out for a meal. And really, I'm talking about it now like this. I really, really miss it. I absolutely love having people to stay at the house, and a busy house. It's a lot more fun. It's kind of boring now. Probably that's why I'm online more than when we used to get to do all that. But it's a great way as well for folk from online to meet each other and experience each other's country. It gives you a chance to travel in a way you might not be able to afford, because you've got somewhere to stay and you're with someone that you've gotten on well with already. or I have known some folk, I don't know if people do it on Pal Talk or not, where they've done a house exchange where they've just swapped for 3 weeks and you go have your holiday there and they come over to where you are. I don't know if anyone's done that here on the chat.
Yeah, Apples, I heard that Belgium was really beautiful.
Hoping if Marty gets in, I wanted to hear about her holiday so much yesterday, but everyone was trying to catch up with her, so I thought just shut up and stay in the background. So hopefully today I'll get to hear a little bit about where she got to go, because we lived up in Holland as well and lived in Belgium for a few years. So I really want to hear, where did she go? And then she did the castles over here. So I'd love to hear which ones that she went to visit and how did she get on, good or bad, because sometimes people come to Ireland and have a very good experience and sometimes they come and they're disappointed. So I'd like to really hear, what did she think of it? Did she have a nice time? But I want to hear where she went in Belgium too. I loved living there, Magic. I didn't want to come back. I would have stayed there, but we needed to finish what we were doing, come back, restart again. So we decided to come back. Actually, we asked 3 people, what did they think? Heart connected to there. We felt we couldn't make a good decision. And independently, we asked 3 people. They didn't know, and all 3 said come back. So we came back. Yeah, I don't know. There must be a reason. I'm still kind of looking for it. It'll come.
No, Apples, Hawaii's on my bucket list too.
I got to see a little of that. Glorious, I have her on my Facebook. She posted from the airplane when they were flying over to there and on the way back. So you got to see it and it was beautiful, clear sky. You could see the water perfectly. So I've never been. I don't think I ever will get to go, but gosh, she got some incredible video of it from her phone. It was absolutely beautiful. If you kind of felt like you'd been there, Cajun, because you were seeing it through her eyes in a way. I loved that. I really enjoyed watching that. I love it that she shares things like that. It was fun to see.
Yeah, I've heard that Hawaii is really beautiful too.
Really made me wish and want to be there so bad. I don't know about up in the airplane, but I think I could make it. I might have to. I don't know. I might have to. Would have to have something to make me just really, really so calm and chill that it wouldn't matter where I was or something. But I wouldn't be by myself. I'd just say, look, just make sure I don't act like a total goof, or do anything goofy on this flight, because I am so terribly, terribly afraid of heights, and that's a real thing. It's not anything you can control, It's like instantly I just begin to feeling this just horrible feeling in my stomach, and it just kind of just goes from there. It's like you can't mentally keep it under control. You just can't, and I've had it all of my life since I was a little bitty girl. But I would love to go to Hawaii. Oh, I'd love to go so much. I'd just love to go.
You hear all the bad stuff about Chicago, but Chicago is so beautiful. Chicago is really beautiful now, but you never hear about that.
Right, Sam. We really don't, because it's always overshadowed by something really bad that's happened there, because it happens so often, But I wouldn't, if I ever did go to Chicago, I'd have to be with somebody that knows Chicago, that would know, the areas that are the good areas and the pretty beautiful areas, because I wouldn't have a clue, That's what it's saying was kind of the same thing with New Orleans, Sam. You know, people will say, "Oh, New Orleans." Well, not all of New Orleans is dangerous or evil or anything else. You just got to know what areas to avoid. You know, and not even all of downtown, Sam. Just only certain areas. You have to know. Be with somebody that knows New Orleans real well. And there's these little pockets of areas in New Orleans that you just don't go around, because you know that they're higher crime areas. But everywhere else is just awesome and beautiful, you know, stuff you're never going to see anywhere else. Kind of like I'm sure you feel about Chicago, right?
Oh yeah, Cajun. My neighborhood is terrible. They were shooting tonight.
Wow, ma'am. Oh man, how do you? I don't understand how you can. I guess you have to. You have to. You just have to pray and trust the Lord, right? But I don't know. For me personally, I don't know if I can handle that. To live in an area where that I would actually hear shootings and guns and stuff every night. I don't think I could deal with that. You know, where I live at now, or even before when I lived in Baton Rouge, which that's not, you know, I lived in other towns in Louisiana as well, not just Baton Rouge, but I'm just in Baton Rouge. There are areas there that I knew not to go to or go around because it was the higher crime areas of the city. But in the other areas, it was not, you know, and that just kind of stuck in the areas where, you know, are the good, you know, are the better parts of town, where it's not so dangerous, you know, because that's how it was in those areas, as there would be shootings every night, or maybe not every night, because Chicago is a lot bigger, I'm sure, than Baton Rouge, but I don't know if I could deal with that. You know, where I live now is not it's not, you know, necessarily in it's not in a real upper scale part of town, but there really is no, I don't know, there's an older section to this town, and it's more close to where they consider the downtown part of this little town, but there is no, I don't know how you'd want to put it, quote unquote, ghetto part of town, or a really high crime area of town or something, whether it be, it's just kind of like you've got your more wealthy people areas, then you've got way more of your like middle class, you know, area. And then you have your older section of town. But even in the older section of town, there are a lot of wealthy people there. They just don't want to move. They just happen to live in some of the really older homes, you know. But that's not the case though in Baton Rouge. I mean, there were parts there where there were, and there's a lot. Christy tells me there's a lot more crime and a lot more murder, a lot more crime than there was before I even left there, you know, so.
Yeah, Cajun. I've lived in Chicago where there's very little crime, where the wealthy people are. Lincoln Park and Hyde Park, very little crime there, where there's a lot of rich people there.
I think the crime's increased because they defund the police. You know, they've defunded the police everywhere. So, and then Biden let a lot of the people out of prison. So I think that's what made the criminals think, oh boy, we can really have fun now, right? they're defunding the police department. They're letting all these people out of prison, which is really bad because it's just putting all of us in danger, really. You know, I don't know, why would they have to do something crazy like that? You know, but they did. I heard Chicago's really bad with crime, Sam. That's what I heard. Chicago's really bad, and Washington D.C. too. And you hear and Memphis has gotten real bad. Oh my gosh! Every time you read the internet news, there's something going on in Memphis. It's crazy. It's the cities, though. Most of the bad crime is in the cities. Go ahead.
Rose, a lot of the crime is caused by poverty. You don't hear that much crime in the rich neighborhoods. It's only the poor neighborhoods.
No, that's true. That's true. I know that. They won't admit it, but yeah, that's it. Because they say some of the places are so bad, the police don't even want to go there. So, but you're right, Sam. Like what you said earlier about those poor girls disappearing. That's really sad just to think these poor girls, you know, because they could be anybody's daughter, anybody's granddaughter, you know, anybody's sister, you know, or mother. You know, I'm just saying all these girls just disappearing, you know, 15, 16 years old, don't come home from school. God forbid, you can just imagine what's going on and happening to these poor girls. I don't even like thinking about it. Makes me sick to my stomach. You know, it's just terrible what's going on. Go ahead, Flea. Yeah, I know it's sad, Sam.
I agree with that to a point. And, you know, because I know a lot of poor people. And they just poor people. They're not poor criminals. You know, like poor don't, you know what I mean? It don't have to mean criminal. Now, it makes sense to be poor and make some bad choices because you were desperate. You know, I don't know. It's a touchy subject and a delicate situation, but to analogize that, well, they just couldn't help themselves. You know, like we all got decisions to make. You know, you can either go this way or that way. And sometimes them choices are hard. You know, I get that. But just to blanket, you know, with them poor people, they just can't help themselves. Because, you know, I know a lot of people that they just, you know, they don't have a whole lot, but they're not criminals.
I'd like to contradict that just by saying that you always know what the right choice is deep down within. You just need to realize that, hear the inner voices, have some intuitions, and just go ahead.
Well, I don't think nobody had to tell me, don't go rob that liquor store. Don't go rob the bank. Don't mug your neighbors. Don't steal everything out the house. Don't shoot them people on the corner. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, rich people commit crime too. It's not only poverty. It's evil.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, Sam, that's a cop out. You know, that's like saying, well, they was poor, so they just don't know no better. You know, and just like you said, the only difference between the crooks downtown Chicago and Washington, D.C. is them ones in D.C. wear suits.
Yeah, fleeing the amount of money they steal.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Marlon. You know, because I was never raised in any type of wealthy way. You know, I mean, we were not like, you know, dirt poor, but I never ever even knew what it was like in my life to have everything I wanted and things like that. You know, I don't remember ever being without, you know, my basic necessities. You know, I don't remember that, you know, as a child and growing up. But it was never in my mindset to go out and hurt, especially to hurt anyone. You know, ever. I mean, it's just not in me to do that. And we've lived in areas, some areas, that were not so great. You know, they really weren't. And then we've lived in areas that were a whole lot better areas, you know, to live in. But never, you know, my mindset and the way that I think about life and the way and what I would, you know, never changed. And it's just not in me to go out and do some of the things that people do now, or have for a long time. I'm not like, it's just not in me to do that. Period. I did, you know, it's just not.
You know what? I really can't understand. How can you hurt a child? And please, I saw in New York where a guy pushed the guy in front of the train. I thought that only happened in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, there was times in our life where things got pretty tough. I remember when I was in grade school. You know, of course, my little brother, he was right behind me. It's about 2 or 3 years between us, and you know, my daddy would tell my little brother, you know, we had hand-me-down clothes and whatnot, and we even had, I mean, to the point we had hand-me-down school pictures. You know, he would get mine, and he looked at my little brother, and he said, "That's what you're gonna look like in 2 years." You know, so we handed down a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I remember as a child to put a cardboard in my shoes. The hole was so big.
Yeah, you know, and look, kids and young people, they're gonna do some silly stuff, you know. So I'm not talking about. I mean, we all have stumbled, you know. So I'm not saying that people don't make mistakes. That, you know, we all do. I'm talking about these criminals. You know, they wake up in the morning, they got one thing on their mind: doing somebody some harm and taking their stuff, or robbing, pillaging, plunder. You know, criminals. I'm not talking about, yeah, that boy of mine, he stole some gum out the store, you know, or just bad situations. You know, I'm talking about criminals. Uh, some people, now they all have the ability to straighten their life up or whatnot, but you got a lot of people that don't want to. You know, I would go so far as to say, if you go down to New Orleans, there's a whole bunch of them people. You could lift them out of poverty, give them a house, pay their bills, take care of everything that you could possibly need, and they would still be criminals. Now that, you know, there's just some people like that.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I was a bully and a thug as a child. But you always know right from wrong. Even children know right from wrong. Rose, you see how they got Sam going tonight? I'll be back a little later, guys. I got a really bad cold I got to work on.
Debbie, are you here?
Yes, honey, I'm here. Matter of fact, I'm talking to your grandson at a PM at the same time. He was showing me some furniture that he really likes, that he thinks he's going to get a really, really pretty sofa and chair. It's on his profile, Judy, if you want to go look at it.
Yes, I saw it. And I tell you what, oh, it is beautiful. Just beautiful. And the color, oh my golly. Yep, I hope he gets it. I suggested to Kibo to make sure that it's high enough back, that he's tall, and to be comfortable. Yeah. But what I wanted to ask you, Debbie, has Christy shown any improvement? Is she feeling better? And if by chance, has she passed the stone?
Oh, yes, she's feeling much better, and I'm sure today will be even better than yesterday. And she has been in no pain because she would have called me. She sent me a text and told me good night. She loved me, which I was already asleep. That I didn't even see till this morning. But that's probably why she sent it by text and didn't call, because she didn't want to wake me up, just in case I was, because she knew that for like the last 2 nights I have just been really, really really worn out, kind of, and that as soon as I kind of lay down and get in a good relaxed position, I've fallen asleep. But I'm almost 100. I told her not to stop, not to stop taking those, at least for a couple of days, not stop taking the dilator pill, just in case. But she has experienced absolutely no pain. So apparently, Judy, that pill, that pill that dilates the urethra, has to make it really dilated a lot for her to pass a stone that big, and she didn't even suffer for 1 second. And the most she told me is that it just felt real weird. It's the only way she knew how to describe it, But she has experienced absolutely no pain. And she's on such strong antibiotics 4 times a day that they have already begun to kick in and work. And so she's getting to feel better and better each day, so she'll probably even feel better today than she did yesterday. So, she definitely is. She's getting over it. And I'm almost 100% positive she did pass that stone.
It certainly does sound like she has. Yeah. Well, I hope she has, and I pray that she has. She's been through a lot.
Aww.
I think she has, Judy, because she has experienced no other pain, and it was already in the urethra. Okay? So there's no way the pain would have just stopped. She went in the hospital, and then since she got home from the hospital, the pain just completely stopped. Because she's only taken 2 of the medication they sent home, and that's all she needed to take. She has not taken any more. So, because once it passed, the pain went away. And so, what a blessing. And man, them coming up with a pill like that to take to help you pass the stone, she didn't have to undergo the laser, busting it up and all that. That is quite a miraculous drug, I think, for its purpose, and it worked perfectly for her, because she didn't feel any pain if indeed she did pass it, which I'm almost positive she did, you know, it didn't hurt at all. So yeah.
Purist. Where's that?
Yeah, I was just talking to Amy and PM, and she's off to the gym. I said, man, I need to go to the gym too. I got to start going and getting back into the routine of going to the gym. I miss it. Been really lazy lately.
Well, Kivo, you've had a whole lot going on. My golly, with house hunting, you haven't really had much time to think about the gym.
No, that's true. That's true. I haven't been going to look at so many houses, and it keeps you busy. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly glad that it's coming to an end. You found your forever home, and then once you get moved in, be wonderful.
Yeah, I just got to do something with the kitchen in the house. It's pretty dated, but so I'm gonna have to probably cut that. But that'll be okay. It won't take long. Have the guys come in to do the work, and of course, I'm always complaining about either the kitchens or the bathrooms at every house I look at. I'm like, I always got to rip the kitchens out and the bathrooms. They're always the first two things on my list to go. It's the kitchens or the bathroom. Good night, Uppy. God bless. Oh, she left. But I don't know what it is with me in kitchens and bathrooms, but I always want to tear them apart. I always find a problem with them.
Well, you were saying, Kivo, that the cupboards were okay, and really all that you were concerned about was the cheap countertops that you would want to put in, like marble or granite countertops. But that could wait until spring.
I can. I'm just being a nitpicker. That's my problem. Just being a nitpicker, because the countertop was new and it was really cheap. But the cabinets themselves, they're older cabinets. They're well made, and they did a nice job actually painting them. They look nice. They look very nice, actually. But it's just, I'm going to have to pull some things out and change a few things. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll just gut the whole kitchen at the same time. But I think I'm probably just talking, I probably won't actually get around to doing that this year at least. But I would like granite countertops. I can't remember if it's marble or granite that you have to seal because they can stain. I can't remember. I'm trying to recall. Do you know?
I have no idea. Marlon, if you're here, perhaps you might know.
I think once you get granite countertops, even though you pay a little more for them, they last you a lifetime if you take care of them. They'll last forever. You'll get tired of them long before they ever wear out. if they ever wear out.
I believe that Marlon, if I'm remembering right, I believe that he has marble. So whenever he gets around to hearing that we're talking to him again or about him, he may can answer your question.
Yeah, Marlon, get back here. We're talking about you. Your must be burning.
Because at one point in time or another, it seems like I remember him talking about having that in his kitchen. And I'm pretty sure he said it was marble.
I don't think it's granite because we've got granite, and I don't remember my mom ever putting a seal on them every once in a while because I think it's got to be marble. I could be wrong. Maybe I just never paid attention. You know, sometimes those little details kind of slip by you when you're not the one taking care of that stuff. So I'm not sure, but it bugs me that I can't remember.
I was just trying to picture it in my head. I think it would have to be marble because that's the one that's going to leave like a little gap. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that would be marble. Yes, it is very nice. But then granite is also very nice, especially if you pick a really pretty granite.
Yeah, I think when it comes to marble, I like all the different colors it comes in. I like the veining in it. You know, it just really makes the color pop, or the colors pop, and just a lot of character to it. I think that's nice. But granite's nice too. Oh, nothing's really wrong. I'm just, you know me, I'm always complaining about kitchens and bathrooms. I always want to gut them and redo them over again, even if they've been recently redone. It's always my main gripe about every house I see. I mean, the roof could be falling in, and I'd still be complaining about the kitchen and the bathroom.
I mean, is there something about it that you don't like?
Oh, really? Just the kitchen, the cabinets are a little outdated, but they've been painted and new hardware put on them, and they look really sharp. But they did put a cheap countertop on it. That I have to say, it was a really cheap, like from Mica countertop, and it's like it's fake marble, and it looks really fake.
What about the bathrooms? What's wrong with the bathrooms that you don't like?
It's the color of the tiles. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the bathrooms. They've been recently redone. They're nice. They're classic looking. But I don't know. I always feel like I got to gut the kitchen and the bathrooms. I'm just weird that way.
Okay, I got it. So it's weird that way.
Pretty much, yeah. One of the bathrooms has a beautiful old claw bath foot tub, which I think is really cool. I'd want to keep that. I think it's really nice. And it's got this black and white floor, tiled floor. Oh yeah, I know, I do too. That I would never get rid of. Never. I think that's too nice.
Never see those anymore. Much less one already being in a home. I love them. They're so classy looking, I think.
When you do see them, they're awful expensive, and they're just not as nice as the original ones. You know, they're just reproduction, so they're not quite as nice. but this is an authentic one, and the glaze is still great on it. Like, it doesn't look like it's been around forever, other than the fact that from the outside you can see it's been around.